Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Kalbeitzer. For those of you who don't know me, I am an adjunct faculty member in the Master's in Counseling and Forensic program at MSPP, and I teach the second year forensic students research and evaluation in the fall term, and I teach psychological appraisal and assessment to the first year forensic students in the spring term. Both of my classes are in the blended format. Now, since I can't be at the retreat with you all today in person, I just wanted to share a little bit about the way that I've been teaching my courses this year and throw out some questions, I guess, about ways to improve some of the things that I sort of struggled with this year in terms of both the course content as well as the format, being in the blended format. So regarding the research and evaluation class, my overarching goal for this class was really to teach the students to become good consumers of research and to teach them to be able to discriminate between good, sound research studies and studies that have some flaws in them that would in some way majorly impact the way that we would interpret the results. And I saw this class as much more a research methods class as opposed to a statistics course. And since I had 7.5 weeks to do it, I tried to find a balance between teaching them from a more conceptual standpoint, the methods, research methods, as well as teaching them some of the statistical concepts that they need to know in order to understand just the basics of a research study. So in some ways, I sort of struggled with how much of the statistics to include, and I think I ended up including more of the statistics than probably they needed at this level, as well as they wanted, and it ended up being, I think, more confusing than maybe it needed to be. So, after teaching this class, I really felt that the class should focus more on the conceptual information associated with research methods, kind of stick closer to, the designs, the internal and external validity, and talking about the research studies on a more conceptual level. Regarding the psychological appraisal and assessment course, my overarching goal for this class was really to convey the value of incorporating psychological assessment into the larger context of clinical practice. And I really saw this class as sort of more of a survey course where I introduced the students to a number of different commonly used assessments, went over the norms that the measures are used for, what information that different tests provide, discussed how to formulate appropriate referral questions, when to make referrals, and I really kind of saw this class as having two main purposes. The first is to identify factors in working with their clients that may raise questions that could be answered by psychological assessment. And the other thing is, main goal was when they referred somebody for testing and they received the report back, how to read that report and incorporate the findings into their clinical practice. I didn't see this course as being sort of a course teaching them how to administer specific psychological assessments. Because they are at the master's level, I saw this again as much more of a survey course, and I saw this as being a course in which they would become familiar with the different instruments and then actually learn to use those instruments through their practicum practical placements or field placements, or if they went on to the doctoral level, to learn how to administer them at the doctoral level courses. Now, I was very pleased with this course, but in speaking with the other two instructors who taught the counseling students in a traditional format, I think we all kind of went about teaching in different ways, and we all established different levels of I guess, teaching the material. Some people went very thorough and taught the students how to administer certain tests, and that was one end of the spectrum. And I think I was at the other end of the spectrum, where I was giving them very brief overviews of a lot of different tests, trying to get them exposed to as many tests as possible to learn what they were used for, but I didn't teach them how to administer any of the tests. And I would just be very interested to hear what others think about sort of what the appropriate level is for our master's level counseling and forensic students. So with that said, I hope that everybody has a wonderful day at the retreat, and I'm sorry that I'm missing it, but thank you for your time and your attention.